Wisconsin Sheep and Wool Festival was this past weekend, and it was lovely. It was so much fun. I met a lot of people. I wore my cheeseburger sweatshirt that I made, my cheeseburger cardigan, the carbdigan as it has been called by some, and I knew it would draw attention. And I was ready for it, and I was just like, yes, I want attention today, so I'm gonna wear this cheeseburger sweater. But I did not anticipate how much of a celebrity I would feel like. I had not only people stopping to tell me they liked my sweater, which is all I was really anticipating, but I also had people stopping to ask me for photos. I got invited to the Knitters Guild of Madison, which was very unexpected, and I met a lot of really cool people because of it, and I ended up sitting and knitting with a big group of people for like 3 hours on Saturday, and it was so lovely. And the only reason I went to Wisconsin Sheep and Wool was because I was like, I gotta get out of the house. On one of my days off, I can't just sit and draw or knit all day. I gotta get out of the house, but I am doing Inktober and I'm in the middle of a sweater, so I'm not gonna get anything. I got a lot of stuff. I got way more than I had anticipated to get. But one of the things that I was really drawn to was fall themed roving, and one bunch, I almost said a skein, one bunch of Halloween themed roving. So I thought it would be cool to record the process of doing that. I've never really done that before, and I think it would be kind of a fun exercise in editing and vlogging, and also I think it'll be fun to look back on. So I wanted to just sort of record that process. I don't know when this will come out. I don't know how long this will take, because as I mentioned earlier, I am also in the process of Inktober and also knitting a whole sweater. So I think as I spin this stuff up, I just want to kind of update you on how it's going, how it's turning out, and all that good stuff. Sorry, my cats are sniffing the wool. So the thing I actually started spinning up today that made me think, wouldn't it be cool to record this, is this cool Frankenstein roving. Okay, so this cool Frankenstein roving was actually called Grapes Gone Wild, but this is obviously Halloween roving, how dare you. It's by Sheeps and Me by Linda Bryan out in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So that's the thing I like about these little fiber fests. It's just like a nice lady named Linda selling you cool Halloween roving. It rules. So I was trying to spin something else up that has just been giving me trouble for literally months at this point, and I still can't get the tension right on it. So I was like, what if I just made Frankenstein roving? So I'm planning on doing a fractal yarn of the Frankenstein roving, and I just started that today, and spinning up really thin. It's spinning up pretty easy. These white flecks though, they're kind of reminding me of like toilet paper. So we'll see how that looks once it's all done. I'm kind of thinking in a worst case, I could do a 3-ply and just get like a plain white, so that way those little white flecks will look more on purpose. But we'll see how it goes. I think that's a super cute Halloween roving. The other Halloween roving I got was this stuff here. It's Targi, and it's in the colorway Taco Night, and it is by Honey Gold Acres. I got 2 things of roving by Honey Gold Acres. I really love them. I actually spun up this by her earlier this year. Forgive me, I don't remember the name of this colorway, but this was such a joy to spin up, and I liked how sparkly it was, so I was really pleased to see that she was back. But this is another Halloween fall kind of cool colorway. I also, let's see here, I guess this is helpful to be here by all the yarn. I got this cool Halloween roving last Sheep and Wool, and I spun this up. I think also super early this year, and this is super pretty. This is by Field Mouse? Field Mouse? I know I saw some of her other stuff there, and I was hoping she had more of this roving, but I couldn't find it, which is too bad because this is so pretty, and I think I only have 4 ounces of this. But anyway, I really like, I don't usually do a variegated yarn unless I'm spinning it, and then I really like it. So I was super in love with this colorway, and when I saw that other one by Honey Gold Acres, it reminded me of it. So I just wanted to do that again. The other one by Honey Gold Acres is this. It's super sparkly. It's in the colorway Mabel, and it just kind of had like autumn sunset energy, and you can totally see the sparkles in here. But when this spins up, it's like, it's so much fun to spin up 30% gold stellina. It's just such a joy, and this was so autumnal, and that's just kind of the mood I've been in lately. So I got this, and I'm super excited to spin it up. And then finally, by Sandy Baldwin, I got 2 of these. It's like this same deal, kind of this sunset, sunrise, gold leaf sort of yarn. What did I get? I got 8 ounces total. It ran me $50 total. It was like $24 for each of these, which I don't know why I wasn't expecting it, but I was like, you know what? This called to me. So I picked this up. I got 8 ounces of this. All I can really think of when I get these cool braids of roving, I think it would be cool to do a sweater with a colored yoke that has like some color work where the color work on the yoke changes, but then the actual sweater is just a solid color. I don't really like just a variegated sweater. I don't think it looks good. So that's just me, obviously personal opinion. So that's sort of the plan with these, but sometimes you just see pretty roving and you just have to make something pretty with it. So I am going to work on spinning these up, however long that takes, and I will update you guys accordingly as progress is made. I have finished spinning one bobbin of the Frankenstein yarn. I know it's called Grapes Gone Wild, but I'm not calling that. I'm calling it Frankenstein yarn. Still not super sure how I'm feeling about these little white flecks, but now that I've done a whole bobbin, I feel like it kind of looks like it's part of it more. And I'm kind of curious to see how it will spin up with that. So I did one bobbin. I might try to do the other bobbin tonight just because I don't really feel like drawing and this is fun. I spun this up so crazy thin. This might be the thinnest, the thinnest yarn I've ever spun up. And I just want to give a little update because I got a whole bobbin done. So that's pretty exciting. I have finished making two bobbins. The light in here isn't great. The sun has gone down. It's like 8:15. Oh my God, when did I start spinning this? I don't know. I kind of didn't expect to spin all of this in one day. I think I might set up to ply, but I don't know if I'm gonna finish plying tonight. I believe this one on the right was just like the big half and this one, yeah, this one was the little half. So I'm still super kind of not in love with these white specks. When I got it, I either didn't notice it or I thought it would just like spin up with the rest of it, but it just sort of, yeah, bunched up. And I'm just so on the fence on how I feel about it. So only one way to find out. I have come this far. I don't hate it. I'm just, I don't know. So anyway, I made this. Okay, it's so late. It is 9:30. I should have been in bed an hour ago. But I was like, I can ply this real quick. You'll see this bobbin is empty. And this bobbin is so full. It's so full. I was like using every ounce of my strength to try to treatle. And I was like, that's okay. You know what? I'll cut the yarn. Oh, I also only have this much left. And yes, I don't have a Lazy Kate. I have this storage box from Target and 2 knitting needles because Lazy Kates are overpriced. Fight me. But yeah, I was like, I have this much left on one bobbin. Obviously it's a little uneven, but that's okay. And I was like, I'll just start a brand new bobbin to ply. It'll be fine. And then I started trying to spin. My fucking bobbin isn't spinning, and I have no idea why. So I think I'm like literally this far away from having all of this plied and actually finishing this project in one day, but I have to be up in like 7 hours. So I don't really know how to troubleshoot this right now, and I think I'm gonna have to finish this tomorrow. So I'm kind of bummed. I was so close, but this was just not doing anything. And I've gone further on bobbins on another wheel I had, but I don't have that wheel right now, and I don't know if it's the wheel, I don't know if it's me, I don't know if it's this silly yarn, but I'm gonna go to bed, so. Okay, I lied. I'm a liar. I had actually a 3D printed bobbin that my cousin made for me. Shout out to Billy for coming in clutch at 9:30 p.m. on a Sunday night. And that turned. I don't know why my other bobbin didn't turn. I had tried everything. I tried the tension here. I tried the tension here and here. But it didn't work. 3D printed bobbin came in clutch. I only had that much. I had that much left over the other one, so pretty even, not bad, not as bad as I thought it would be. I'm going to continue to be masochistic and put this on the nitty naughty, and then I am actually going to go to bed. What am I doing with my life? Okay, good night. Hello again. I am in my pajamas. It is 6:30 p.m. and I am in my pajamas, my spooky little Halloween pajamas. So we're cozy. I, like an absolute maniac, finished the Frankenstein yarn completely on Sunday. It was a little harrowing at the end, but it's done, and that's pretty exciting. And I'm in maybe a little bit of a pickle. I may have overpromised a little bit to just to myself. So I'm gonna change nothing and just get increasingly more stressed. That is the current plan. But yeah, I said I would do Inktober, and I started doing that, and that was going well. And then I was like, okay, well, I'm also knitting a sweater, and I should have that done by Halloween, but that's fine too. And then I was like, ooh, and I'll spin up all my Halloween yarns, on my Halloween roving. This is all fine. And then I joined the Madison Knitters Guild, and I just want to make other things. You can make all kinds of things to donate. I also volunteered at work to donate 5 pet ghosts for the prize for the costume contest on Halloween. And I'm starting a knit along on October 6th that is going to be a colorwork sweater of yarn that I want to hand spin, which I have not started, and I am intent on doing all the fall yarns before I start that yarn. Is this the worst idea? Absolutely. Am I going to be able to do all of this? Absolutely not. But we'll kind of see where it all goes. I think I can do a lot of it. I don't think I can do all of it though. Anyway, I'm holding this because I think this is gonna be my next yarn that I spin. I think it is the most Halloween-ish of the bunch. It is Taco Night by Honeygold Acres. And so if I do this week, then I will for sure have another Halloween themed one done before Halloween, in case for some reason I don't do all of these very quickly. Whew. So I'm a little overextended, but I don't know, it's kind of fun, and we'll kind of see what drops and what doesn't and what sacrifices I have to make. But I am going to just do this the same way I did the Frankenstein yarn. I'm gonna try to put it on the bigger drive to make a smaller weight yarn, and maybe the goal for all of this is, let's see how many yards I can get out of 4 ounces. The Frankenstein yarn came in at 292 yards. So we have to try to beat that. We have to make it as thin as possible to beat that. We'll see. I'm doing everything in 2-ply, easy peasy, nothing crazy. So that's the plan, and I will show off all the yarns at the very end for the reveal, so I'm not going to show you anything until they're all done. So I am going to go spin this up, and I will update you as updates happen. Okay, so I'm gonna be pretty reasonable. It is 8:22 and I'm gonna call it a night. I have done half of a bobbin, so like a quarter of everything, but I have to say, this is, I don't know if this camera is picking this up, this is so thin. This is the thinnest yarn I have ever spun, and it is like, oh, there's no way this is picking this up in this light, but it is so consistently thin the whole way around. I am so pleased with how this is turning out so far. That's this is gonna be my spinners, my children. This is gonna be my thinnest yarn to date. I'm betting we can get like a lace weight or a fingering weight out of this. I'm so excited. But yeah, this is part 1, and I'm gonna work on it more tomorrow, but I'm gonna go to bed right now because I'm tired. And I have to yell at my cats. Why didn't anyone warn me? No one told me that spinning super thin takes forever, and I probably should have figured that out myself, but I didn't. And golly, I've made the most beautiful bobbin of a single ply in my entire life, and I just want to leave it like this forever and put it on my shelf for everyone to admire. It's gorgeous. It's like a painting. It's beautiful. But in my last video, I was talking about how I have so much stuff to do, and I don't think I'll be able to do it all. But also, what if I tried to make the longest yarn I've ever made in my life and then keep trying to break that record. And that was stupid. I'm stupid. I'm not stupid. This was stupid though. Oh, what to say about this? I'm not gonna do this again for the yarns that I'm planning on making this month. But this was such a good learning opportunity. I spun this so thin, it was scary at times. I am surprised this never snapped. A lot of times when I'm spinning, I'll be spinning and it'll just fizzle out into absolutely nothing. And somehow that didn't happen with this, but it got really thin at points, and I'm genuinely afraid to ply this with the second ply. So yeah, I'm still gonna do it. I think this yarn is gonna be freaking gorgeous. I don't know how many yards I have no way of knowing, but if I only have like 295 yards or something, I'm gonna throw a fit. But yeah, I'm doing another fractal yarn. I figured I would just keep doing fractal yarns because that's a safe bet. I like how they look and I like doing them, and I don't really know enough about spinning to know like another cool thing to do. So this, I always do the part I don't like first, where you take just the big half chunk and do that first. I don't like doing it. I like doing it in the smaller pieces. So I save that part for last when I'm like just ready to die because I hate spinning so much. And then I'm like, oh, this part's easier. So hopefully I can get it this thin again. This is so cool. I'm a little annoyed because I was like, I'm gonna speed run these yarns, and I don't know what I was thinking. At first, for a second, I was like, yeah, thin, this is great, and then the reality hit me. Also, I'm in my pajamas again. It's the next day after my last video. This took basically 2 full evenings. I don't know, like 4 hours, give or take, to make this. It's kind of hard to say. I haven't been officially timing myself, but definitely longer than it usually takes me. So now I at least know what I'm in for. I know I can do it, and I'm gonna aim for it to be this thin, and maybe by the end of the weekend I can have a hank of yarn. I don't know. I'm just gonna keep chugging along and see where things go. Also, the lighting in here is not super duper great. I didn't put my ring light up because it's 8 p.m. So I'll take some nice photos of this and throw those up here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I'm new. But yeah, I'm gonna get the second bobbin set up and start spinning that a little bit tonight, and finish it up whenever I'm able to. Wish me luck. showered and not in pajamas, and it's 11 a.m. and not 6 p.m. and I'm awake, and I bailed on going to a trade show today, which is the best decision I've ever made, I think, because I was able to finish my second ply. My second single, excuse me. This took forever, and I'm very grateful these are done. This took so much focus. I was so scared that I was gonna somehow mess up or make the second single like way thicker than the other one, or something would go wrong, it would break or something. I don't know. I felt like I got myself in a little too deep. So I think the second one is just as thin as the first. I actually think it was a little bit more consistent. I think it was a little better. So I am gonna eat lunch. Okay, it's 11:09 a.m. Maybe I'm just gonna eat a snack, but I'm gonna take a break because I just like speed ran this second single so I could get it out of the way. I was like, I'm so happy I bailed on a thing. I have to spin yarn now. So I'm gonna do that. And then I'll let you guys know when it's plied. And yeah, I'm very, very pleased with this. I think if I wasn't on such a time crunch, this would have been more fun, but because I'm so overextended, this was a little stressful. So now it's just plying, which will still take some time, but the hard part is done. Plying is usually more mindless. I didn't really overspin this either, so I'm still a little scared because this first one, it got really, really thin in places, and I think that only happened like twice on this one, so I'm scared it's gonna snap when I'm plying it. So I'm gonna have to take it easy, I'm gonna have to be patient, so I'm gonna eat before I do that, and woosah, and then I'll have more yarn. I can't wait to see how many yards it is. I'm very excited. Okay, wish me luck. Hi, it's me and Scramble. Here we are. There he is. Scramble's camera debut. He's actually been hanging out with me quite a bit while I have been spinning today. So, I've been playing for an hour and a half. I'm almost done. Things are, knock on my spinning wheel, things are going well, but let's talk about this. So there she is. She's gorgeous. I love her. I have quite a bit of singles left, and where it's at, my bobbin has stopped spinning. I tried to adjust some of this. Oh my, yeah, I want to go this way. I tried to adjust this. I tried to adjust this. And I think what happens is just like the weight on the bobbin just becomes too much. And when I used my castle style wheel, this was never an issue. I could seriously get the yarn like to where it was almost like touching the flyer, and it would only stop spinning because the yarn was pushed up against the flyer, and that's what would make it stop. So I think I really wanted this to just be like a perfect hank of yarn, but I think I'm gonna have to start a second bobbin. And also, my God, plying this is taking so long. Yeah, so I'm gonna do that. I have to be somewhere at 2, so we'll see. We'll see how that all goes. But yeah, it's going okay. It's just a lot. I knew it would be a lot, but it is actually, like I said, knock on spinning wheel. It's going better than I had anticipated. So I will get my second bobbin set up and we'll go from there. Isn't that right, Scramble? Okay. Stop the clock. I'm in my pajamas again. Yes. It is still Friday the 13th. I had to go, well, I shouldn't say I had to. I hung out with my girlfriend for 6 hours today. So after I got back, I was like, I'm really close to finishing up applying this. So I applied the rest of it. It got a little hairy for a minute, but it was boring, whatever. I applied it all up. Then one of my big bobbin, it like exploded, like the bottom just popped off. So then when I was putting it on the nitty knotty, that was kind of harrowing. But it is currently soaking so that I can thwack it and hang it up and have it ready whenever it dries. Then it will be done. Number one, it got really thin in places, but it did not snap. At no point did anything snap. It only overspun a little bit. I've definitely done worse. So I was very surprised and impressed at how little overspinning there was. When there was overspinning, it was spooky because it was like trying to untwist sewing thread. So that was harrowing. And after I got on the nitty knotty, I couldn't wait. I immediately counted out how much I ended up getting out of this super thin yarn, and I got 490 yards out of 4 ounces. So yay. I'm not gonna try to beat that. I think that would be a fun challenge at some point if I just had nothing else going on, but now is not the time. So yay, I know I can do it. I know I can spin a really thin yarn and get pretty much 500 yards out of 4 grams, which is insane to me. I usually get, I'd say between 275 and 300 is usually kind of pushing it. So 500 is unbelievable for me. I'll have to wait until this yarn is hanked up to kind of see how I feel about it. I'm a little dubious about it because when it plied up, it didn't have that same autumn Halloween energy to it. There's a couple places where the orange becomes kind of peachy and the gray becomes kind of blue. And if those colors plied together, that like peach and light blue just wasn't screaming autumn at me. So I may just be delirious from looking at it for a long time. I don't know how many hours it took me between spinning it and then plying it, and then even putting it on the nitty knotty took forever. So I might just be delirious right now. I just might be tired of looking at it. So we will see. We'll see how I feel about it, but I don't know. It's really pretty. I like it, but I might have to change the context about how I feel about it. So it is soaking. It is done. I am gonna get ready for bed and then we'll move on to the next thing. But braid number 2 is complete. We did it, and I can go back to making more normal yarn and not trying to make the thinnest yarn in the world. That was silly, but we did it and it looks nice and I'm proud of myself and I learned a lot. So time was not wasted. Okay, I'm showered, I'm awake, I'm not in pajamas, and this is the next one. I don't really know what to say. I feel like this is getting redundant. Do you like this? Is this good? What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? Tell me how we're feeling. Tell me what the vibes are like. Mostly I'm just spinning, and I want to talk about the trials and tribulations I deal with while I'm spinning. So let me know what you want to hear more about. Hopefully you're not hearing my cat scratch a wall. It's fine. Okay, so I'm a little spun out. So I'm going to clean my house today. I'm going to take it real easy. I might do a little knitting. I'm working on a sweater, as we've talked about. So I don't know. I don't know what the day looks like. It's Ponyta Day in Pokemon Go, so I gotta catch some Ponytas. So, you know, I contain multitudes. But we are looking at the Mabel colorway from another Honey Gold Acres. The last one I did was Honey Gold Acres. It just wasn't super sparkly, but I mean, I have to get some sparkles every time I see Honey Gold Acres. She does wonderful sparkles. So she is next. I don't know, I'm kind of over fractals. I think I kind of just want to like cut this up into like six sections. Six sections is the word I'm looking for. And just do that. I don't know, that could be cool. Yeah, there's not much to say here. This is just giving autumn sunset. And so I want to do this next because the last one I have is 8 ounces. And I think I'm going to be stubborn about it and do all 8 ounces instead of just doing 4 and being like, this is what it would look like. To just really feel like this project is done. So here she is. We're going to turn this into yarn. That's the plan. Wish me luck. bobbin. I left it over here. I'm just gonna, Yay. I went thick. I learned my lesson and I was just like, how thick can I make her? So that's not true actually. I used the lace weight drive or whatever, but then I made it really thick on the big drive. You know what I'm talking about. There's two drives. There's a smaller drive to make thicker singles and then a bigger drive to make thinner singles. So I made the thickest single I could make on the thin drive. Cool? Cool. I'm currently scared of my smaller drive because I started spinning a yarn on that drive in like May, and every time I try to finish it, it just overspins like crazy. No matter how I adjust it, I just can't get it to work for some reason. So I'm scared of it. Even though I did a bunch of yarn on that drive before, I can't. Anyway, I'm not using it because I'm scared. So I made this. I think this took me like 45 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. I think the thin Halloween yarn, I think it took me like a few hours per bobbin. I didn't time it. If I was a good noodle, I probably would have. I could give you guys some data. But yeah, I think I sat down to do this around 12:30 and I was like, well, I gotta leave at 1:30. So I'll just like see what I can get done. It is now 1:20. So minus 5 minutes for me to eat some granita and set up this camera. This took me like 45 minutes. And I think she's just lovely. She's super sparkly. She's super Halloweenish. It took me 45 minutes. All good things. I was also thinking about it, and I don't think I'm ever going to use a sparkly Halloween yarn for something really lace weight and fine and elegant. I'm gonna use this for something silly, like a wizard's cape for a stuffed cat or something ridiculous like that. So I'm gonna want a worsted weight. This is what I'm telling myself, at least, so I can justify making this big yarn. So I have things to do. I know I said that earlier. I was like, I'm gonna clean and knit, and I did clean and I did put in my grocery order. So don't tell me I lied to you. I didn't. But I did not knit. I thought about it and then I was like, I bet I could get some spinning out of the way, and I did. I got a whole bobbin done. So, maybe by end of night? I don't know if that is a little optimistic, but 45 minutes, less than an hour. After a couple days of trying to make, after a whole week, I started spinning last Sunday. So after a week of trying to make thin yarns, 45 minutes of sparkle Halloween yarn, party, absolute party. So I think I can finish this today. Is this foreshadowing? Probably. But who knows? I think it's possible at the very least. If everything goes right, it's possible. So yeah, I'm gonna go get all the glitter. It's not glitter, the sparkly bits. I'm gonna get all the sparkly bits off of my clothes, and then I'm gonna go walk around and touch grass and be outside, and then we'll see how much more I can make of this. But I'm very pleased, it looks very good, and I'm super excited about having some more sparkle yarn. So I will update you when there's more to be updated on. another hour, another bobbin. I have 2. Oh, I should learn how to do those edits, like how people like punk and then they're plied. Oh my God. I don't know how to do videos. I just want to spin yarn and tell everyone about the yarn I'm spinning. Anyway, I have 2 bobbins now. Gosh, the light's kind of funny in here. But yeah, the other one took me less than an hour. I tried to make her thick like the other one. I think they're about even. They should be about even. I was just vibing. I caught some Pokemon. I caught some Ponytas. Happy Ponyta Community Day. And it was hot outside and I didn't want to be out there anymore, so I came back early to do this. It was like 90 degrees out and I forgot sunscreen and no one was there, so I got a dozen shiny Ponytas, an even dozen, and I got 1 perfect Ponyta that I named Royal Icing, because last year I got a perfect Galarian Ponyta that I named Sprinkles. So they are now sisters. So I have had a very productive day, thank you very much. I have to go get groceries and then I'm gonna ply these bad boys up and I'm hoping it will only take me another 30 to 45 minutes and I'll be done with this. I knocked this out in a day. Could have knocked this out in like 3 hours if I didn't go on a stupid walk for my stupid mental health. So yeah, I will update you when there's nothing on. Okay, goodbye. Number 3 is done. It is currently soaking, and then I'll thwack it tonight and it'll be completely done. Plying took a little bit longer than I had expected, but I would say plying is one of my weaker points with spinning yarn. So I was really trying to focus on getting that ply like really nice and I really liked the angle of it, so I think my efforts were worth it. Normally my plies can kind of be like on this long angle, and I wanted them to be more like this, like with yarn you see at the store. So I wanted those plies to be a little bit tighter. I wanted the angle to be a little bit better. I don't know how to describe it. I'll pop a picture up. I never really learned how to ply. When I learned how to spin in 2020, I learned very, very little about the basics, and then the rest I just sort of figured out on my own. So plying, I sort of figured out the first time I plied 2 singles together, and then I've just been adapting it since then to make it work for me. And at this point, I'm kind of scared to watch a how-to video in case I'm doing it wildly incorrectly. I should probably remedy that, but here we are. But yeah, I feel really good about the plies that about the ply that I got on this. And it ended up being, I know this, I just counted, 214 yards, which is a little short for me. Like I said, I usually get 275, like 250 at a minimum. But I think that thin yarn just made me so impatient that I was like, how thick can I make this bad boy? So I'm not surprised. I also admittedly hold on. I had more left over on the bobbin than I think I would normally leave. But also with how thick this is, I thought about it, I had considered. I actually did this on the really thin yarn. I had a lot left on the bobbin, but I'd spent so much time on that I was like, I have to use up as much of this as I possibly can. So I put an empty bobbin on the wheel and then spun half of this onto a second bobbin and then plied all that together. But even with the super thin yarn and with more of this left over on the one wheel, I think it only gave me like 15 yards. So doing a little bit of math in my head, if I had less on here than I did for the thin yarn, I had less and it's thicker, I was like, this might get me an extra 5 yards at best. So I had a little extra, and I'm just gonna toss it. I just tossed my leftover singles. I don't know what else to do. So I think even if I had integrity about this, I could have maybe gotten to like 220 yards. So I didn't think it was really worth the time to transfer half of this onto a new bobbin and then do more. And it was kind of nice to not have to like factory tie on some yarn halfway through my skein. So I didn't have to switch bobbins at all for some reason. I don't really know. I don't really understand a lot of the physics of spinning. There's a lot of variables that I just don't understand. But regardless, this one worked out, so I am not mad about it. I think this yarn would be super cool for like a color work, like moon and stars hat, like a black main color, and then use this as a contrasting color for like cool, like celestial Halloween imagery. I think that would be kind of neat. Alternatively, there's a very cool Northern Lights hat that this would be cool, like Northern Lights yarn. So yeah, I don't know, some things to think about. I'm really delighted by this yarn. I kind of like how thick it is. That's actually been a first for me too. I've never tried to go as thick as possible. I always tend to kind of try to make it as thin as I can, because somehow thinner makes you a better spinner, question mark. That's how I feel, at least. But yeah, that is soaking right now, and it is like 9 p.m. So I'm just gonna not spin for the rest of the night and see where it goes. We'll see how it goes. It's a little daunting, the idea of doing 8 ounces, 8 more ounces. So we'll kind of play it by ear. I still want to do it. I would still like to have it done. Oh, also, if you hear a weird noise, I'm just so We'll see. I keep trying to plan. I plan everything out, so I should probably stop that. But regardless, right now, this yarn is soaking. It'll be dry by tomorrow afternoon, and then that will be done, and that will be checked off my list, and it feels really good. This was actually really, really fun, and I'm really delighted. Also, like, yeah, it's super sparkly and nice. Look at this mess. Yeah, that's yarn number 3. I will talk to you when I have an update for yarn number 4. Hello again. It has actually been, I don't really know how long. I think it's been a couple weeks since the last time I worked on my fall yarn spinning project, which was, in hindsight, admittedly kind of a really out-of-pocket thing to try to squeeze in with all the other things I've been trying to get done. But I don't care. So I'm gonna keep doing it despite my better judgment. That is the plan. So it is September 29th, and I was like, it's really important to me that I finish spinning up all this fall yarn before Halloween. Feels like a good time to be done with this. But also, I went to a yarn spinning group yesterday, and I saw someone there doing chain plying, and I have never even heard of chain plying, or if I have heard of chain plying, I had no context for what it meant. So I want nothing more in this world than to try chain plying. And I was like, what better time to try chain plying than when I have 8 ounces of a yarn like this to spin up. So that way, instead of trying to make all this fit onto several different bobbins, I can use 2 bobbins. I just spin one single onto one big bobbin, and then I can chain ply it onto another bobbin, which is good because I'm currently using a lot of other bobbins for my sweater yarn. So there's been a lot of spinning going on, and I thought it was time to try chain plying, and that's what I want to do today. So I'm going to start spinning up this yarn, and I'm gonna try my first ever chain ply. We'll see how it goes. I've never done it. I literally found out this existed yesterday, like 24 hours ago. I found out this was even a thing. But I think it's promising, and it seems like if I get the hang of it, it will be less tedious than making 2 bobbins and plying those together. So I'm gonna try it, and I'll let you know how it goes. Look how fat she is. Yeah. I did a speed run. Yeah. 4 ounces. Any percent. This isn't anything. Yeah, I literally was like, the point of all of this is to get to the plying. So I just sat down for an embarrassing amount of time. It was like an hour and 45 minutes straight. I just speed ran it. I did nothing else. I just hyper focused. And I spun up 4 ounces in like an hour and 45 minutes. I will say, I think it goes faster when you just do it all on one bobbin, because if you do 2 ounces and then switch up bobbins, you have an opportunity to take a break. But I didn't do that. I just kept spinning. Initial thoughts on this. There is a lot of this white stuff in here. I don't hate it as much as I did on the Frankenstein yarn. It's giving autumn sunset with clouds. That's how I'm seeing it, at least. So I don't actually hate it as much as I hated it on the green and purple roving. So this is done. I am actually going to stand up and walk around and drink water and take a break and maybe eat a food. And then I'm gonna get to the chain plying. So yes, I am going to have spun up just an insane amount of yarn this weekend. It is Sunday afternoon, so oh boy. But hey, then this will be done. How exciting. And then I'll decide if I want to do the other 4 ounces this week or put it off. We'll see. We'll see how much I like chain plying. Spinning this up was easy enough. She got fat. I like doing it all on one bobbin. So I will let you guys know how the chain plying goes. I'm super excited. So I have started doing the chain plying. It was harrowing at first. The stuff underneath all this looks terrible. It looks terrible. I'm probably gonna cut it off, but I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm starting to get the hang of it. I did just a little bit. I didn't do a ton. It occurred to me that I was being really cocky, and I really had it in my head that I was gonna just get it right away, because it was just one of those things where I was like, this looks easy enough. I don't see why I wouldn't be able to get that right away. And I did understand the concept, but I underestimated the fact that you have to push the yarn onto the bobbin. You can't just chain. You have to do both. And suddenly it required a lot of coordination that I didn't have. And I literally felt the way I felt the first time I ever plied yarn. Like, it was overspinning. It was coming off the bobbin. I kept spinning the wheel the wrong way. It was nostalgic at best and stressful, mostly very stressful. I even have my little graveyard of bad yarns that didn't make the cut. So there's that. I was gonna keep cutting it off. And even at one point, my ply just broke and I didn't know what to do. So I just tied it back on. I don't know, I might cut that part off. But I was like, I'm not gonna get better unless I keep doing this. So I just kind of kept going, and I was like, even if I throw all 4 ounces of this yarn away, I have to practice. It's getting a little better. I'm getting the hang of it, and I'm gonna still try to finish this by the end of the night. I'm gonna keep going. So I learned halfway through making this yarn that I know that there are 2 drives. I understand that. I thought this bigger drive made it go faster, and I thought this smaller drive made it go slower. So when I watched the tutorial about chain plying, it said put it on your slower drive, so I put it on the smaller one, and that's what like a lot of this is, and it kind of looks kind of ropey. And then I obviously ran out of room on this bobbin. It was like not spinning anymore, and I was struggling, so I was like, I'm just gonna start a new bobbin. And I put it on the larger drive to slow it down, and this turned out so nice. I'm like, I think I actually got this. Like, I think I got this. So this is actually perfect, question mark, because I have another 4 ounces of this exact roving and this exact colorway, and now that I have a feel for chain plying and I've made some mistakes, I can make this again, but make it a little bit more competently. So I am going to put this all in the nitty naughty and just kind of see what attempt number 1 looks like. I do think the first few yards are gonna get thrown out. I really do. That was tough. That's fine. But I'm hoping it's at least usable. And then when I go to make the second skein, it will be even better. So I'm super happy I did this. I'm really happy in a way that I'm really happy that I thought it would be easier than it was, because I think if I assumed it would be hard, I don't think I would have tried this tonight. So this actually worked out, I think. I'm gonna go put this on the nitty naughty. I'm very delighted to have this done. I'm gonna soak this and then dry it overnight, and then I'll have yarn tomorrow, and then this week I can make the last of this, and then I'll be done. Yay. Happy October 1st. It is 11:41 on a Tuesday morning, and I'm home because my body is betraying me. I don't feel traditionally sick, but I've been so tired for 2 days straight. I showed up to work 2 hours late yesterday because I slept in. And then today I knew I was gonna sleep in. So I texted my boss that I would be in mid-morning, and then I woke up at 10 a.m. after 13 hours of sleep and texted him back, and I said, actually, I'm just gonna sit this one out, coach. So I feel okay. I don't feel sick, but something in my body is telling me to rest. So I figured what better day to rest than on the 1st of October. I can finish spinning some yarn. I can finish an Inktober drawing, or I can ignore all of that and nap. I mean, really, I can do whatever I want is the truth, but I always consider taking off the first week of October and I never do. So I guess the next best thing is to be a little sick on the first day of October and call in sick to work. So here we are. So yesterday was Monday, first day of the work week. I came home from work and I was like, I'm really excited to finish up this second braid of autumn yarn. And I tried to spin it up, and I think I was just tired, or I spun so much over the weekend, I don't know, but I just couldn't keep up with my wheel. I would literally like treadle twice and then it would just poof. My roving would just disconnect. Every time I tried to reconnect it, poof. I probably tried for a good 20 minutes before I was finally like, this just isn't working, and I went and I did something else. But this morning I woke up, it's like almost noon, and I was like, I'm just gonna try it. I did still have a hard time reconnecting it. So we lost this good soldier in the war, but it was so little that I was like, this is maybe gonna make a yard or two of 3-ply. So I was like, I'm struggling. It will literally be easier to just restart. And I was right, I restarted. I've had no problems. So that's the plan. Right now, I think I already separated out all my roving, so I can just kind of plug and play, grab and go. I have 5 more of these. I'm finding that each one takes me about 20 minutes, and yeah, I can spin up 4 ounces of just a single in about 2 hours. I think that's good. That feels good. I think it takes me about, if I'm focused, 3 hours of working time to go from fluffy stuff to actual plied yarn, which I think is pretty good. And that's for 4 ounces, 200 to 300 yards, depending on other factors. Also, yes, I should mention that I am wearing this big orange cat blanket hoodie, and it's because it's cold out. It's like 55 degrees out, and I left the windows open overnight. And then I decided to keep them open because it's nice. And I know I sound like everyone else in the world right now. I've been ready for fall since like June 5th. So I'm embracing it. So I'm going to spin up these singles again. And then I'm gonna try my redemption arc at chain plying. I'm feeling really good about it. And then I will be done with all this fall yarn October 1st. How perfect. How perfect is that? And less than a month for 5 braids of roving, plus the 2 extras I did for a sweater. That's good. I went to Sheep and Wool, I think on September 8th. So what, like 3 weeks? That's a lot of yarn to spin up when I was supposed to be doing Inktober sketches. But hey, at least I'm making stuff, so that's what matters. Everything else is arbitrary. last bobbin of autumn yarn is spun up. I don't know why this one kept giving me issues. It just kept, like, I don't know if I was spinning too fast or my tension was weird, but I'd be spinning and it would just separate, which happened to me a lot when I was new. And like I said, it happened a lot when I started this, and then when I restarted it today, I was fine. But like that last, gosh, like the last quarter, last 20% or so, it was happening so many times I just stopped recording because I was like, I don't want to manage a camera and also this shit. So we got through it. There was a little bit of fallen soldiers, but nothing super significant. It's just, I don't know. It's been a long time since I've had that kind of issue while spinning. So it was pretty frustrating, especially because, God, I'd say it's probably been like a year or two since I finished spinning up a single, and then I had like a little pile of fiber next to me of all the fiber that I messed up with. So not really a big deal in the scheme of things. I just wasn't really willing to deal with it today. And I was also being too stubborn to be like, okay, I'll stop now and revisit this when I have a little bit more patience, because I'm on the last one. And once this is plied up, I'm done with my little side quest, my little yarny side quest. Also, I really am anxious to have a chain plying redemption. So I'm gonna do that now. I'm watching over the garden wall and I'm making my cute autumn yarn. And honestly, pretty good sick day, all things considered. I've woken up a bit, and yeah, I'm hoping that I'm just feeling better and I just needed a day to sit and do this and watch over the garden wall. So, time to ply. Had my redemption. I did the chain plying on the last 4 ounces of this cool autumn yarn. I can't believe I snuck in, what, like 20 ounces of yarn spinning between a bunch of other projects. And I think I said at the beginning of this that I had a lot going on, and I was like, I wonder what will fall to the wayside. It was Inktober. I have, I think, like 4 or 5 sketches done, and I'm gonna ink those. And that's that, but whatever, I'm not gonna go to Sheep and Wool and spend $100 on fiber and then let it sit for months or years. I wanted to do it. So I have nothing for show and tell right now. I will show everything in the reveal. I will talk about everything in a sec. But I just wanted to say I had my redemption. My chain plying went awesome. The tension was pretty great. It's not perfect, but it's really good, and there was so much improvement. Just from the first time to the second time, the improvement was crazy. So I am super duper proud of myself for learning a new thing this week and then immediately having a chance at redemption using the exact same roving in the exact same color, the exact same weight, the exact same everything. So none of the variables changed, and I was still able to see how I was able to chain ply. I'm so delighted. So that is going to be some cool yarn. I don't even know what I want to make with it yet. I got 124 yards on the first skein that's like super tightly plied up, and I got 138 yards out of this really lovely skein. And I don't know what to make with any of this. I want to make things with all of them, but I don't know what to make, and I definitely don't have time right now. So I will see you guys in the reveal, and I will show off all the cool stuff that I've made in like the last 3 weeks or so. And yeah, just talk about making over a pound of yarn with my own hands. What a joy. We are back where it all started, in front of my disorganized yarn shelf. I did it. I spun up all the yarn I said I would spin up. Admittedly, when I started this video, I thought it would take a lot longer than it did, but it turns out your girl hyper-focused, sort of. So it is early October, and I just want to show off all the yarn I made in its full glory, talk about the trials and tribulations, what I like, what I don't like, and just kind of show off some yarn I made. So, the first one I made was this Frankenstein yarn. This was okay. I don't like the white flecks in there. I think I have like a white fleck blindness because I didn't notice it in this and I didn't notice it in the one that I spun 8 ounces of. Just when I was looking at the roving, I was like, colors, and I just didn't notice these little white flecks until I was spinning it up, and then I was like, shit. So I think otherwise maybe part of me thought it would spin up a little smoother, but it just, sorry, Scramble's here, he's knocking my tripod around. It just sort of has these little puffs in there. So overall, this is okay. This has more of like a traditional Halloween vibe than the other ones I made, but I like it. I don't hate it. This was pretty standard for me. This was just like, hey, spin up some yarn, let's see what happens. Solid 3 out of 5 from me. The next one I did, here she is. My super duper crazy thin yarn that I got like 500 yards out of, and it took me like 3 days because I'm silly and I forgot that thin yarn takes longer to spin up. This was, I wish I had a plan in mind for this, and I wish I didn't have other projects going on, because I think this would have been really fun to spin up a super thin yarn and just really take my time with it. So I would dock like part of a point because I felt rushed and the experience felt really rushed, but the yarn itself, 5 out of 5. I love this. I, again, don't know what I would do with this because it's thin. I think like some fingerless gloves would be super cute, or like I said, like the contrasting color against some black or gray or brown or orange in like a cowl or a hat would be super cool. But yeah, I'm super duper pleased with this. And then after that, after I was like, oh man, this thin yarn took forever, what if I spun super duper thick? I made this. This, I think, is this my favorite one? It might be. I'm not sure. I like them all, but this, it was sort of a happy accident because the last one was so thin and I made this one so thick. This is like a nice solid worsted weight yarn, so my brain can comprehend what I could do with this more. I actually, when looking around for Halloween patterns, found this really cool pattern with like these witches standing over a cauldron, and then the background is like a cool witchy color, and I was like, this would be the perfect background color for that, with just like some normal like black witch silhouettes. It would make a super cool hat. So I think that is what I'm gonna make with this. I just don't know when, but love a worsted weight, love how sparkly she is, love how like autumn, sunset, apple candy vibe we have going on here. She is, of course, a 5 out of 5. She's sparkly, I love her. And then my chain plies, look at them! They're sisters! If you look, I don't even know if the camera will pick it up. If you look super close, then you have a discerning eye, you can tell the difference in the tension from plying these. Looking at one and then looking at the other, you can't tell the difference. Even from this far away, you absolutely cannot tell the difference. But if you're really looking at it close, it's the difference between the plies being kind of at this angle versus at this angle. The one that's overplied too, when it's not twisted up in a hank like this, you can see the little overplies sort of spinning up. And once it's in a cake, and honestly I think once it's knitted up, that won't really be an issue. But this second one went so well. It looks so good. It feels really nice. It doesn't feel, this one even like feels a little bit more like rope, and this one feels a little bit softer and a little bit more like yarn. So when you're in person and you're looking at them, you can tell which one I did first and which one I struggled with and which one I kind of had the hang of at that point. So she gets like a 3 out of 5. She definitely gets like a 5 out of 5. Together it averages out to like a 4 out of 5, I suppose. This is giving Alaska hat sunset to me, but I have made like 10 Alaska hats because every time I get a yarn in this colorway, I'm like, that looks like the sky. So if you know of something that this would be better for, I would say this is a worsted to an Aran weight. Because it's 3-ply, it definitely came out thicker. I got 124 and 138 yards respectively, which when I did the math, I think comes out to what, like 262? Which is honestly like crazy to think about. This was 4 ounces, 500 yards, 8 ounces, just over 250 yards. Super crazy to think about. But this is like nice and strong, and it's hefty, and she's like a little wispy. So here they all are. I love all of them. They're all super squishy, and I made them all with my own hands and my own spinning wheel. And we had some trials and tribulations, but I don't know, I definitely learned a lot. I got way more consistent in my spinning. I practiced a lot. I joined a spinning group. I learned how to chain ply. A lot has happened in the world of yarn spinning in the last 3 weeks. So if you guys stuck around to watch all of this, thank you. Oh my gosh, this is just me making yarn and then going, I don't know what to make with this for like an hour. So thank you for watching. Please feel free to follow along to kind of see where things go. I've got some big projects in the works, and I think I'm gonna kind of stick with these longer form videos just because I personally, that's what I like to watch when I'm on YouTube. I like to watch like a 30 to a 60-minute video. So I want to try to hit that sweet spot with my videos. So if you like that, if you just like watching someone make apparently exclusively spooky things, which was not the case up until a few months ago, but is now, I guess, feel free to follow along, subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else that you want to see me make, if there's anything different you want out of these videos, and we will go from there. In the meantime though, thank you for looking at all my yarns that I made. Look how pretty! So I have so many things I'm working on. I don't know when I'll be able to make anything with these, but I am super happy to have these on my shelf, and I will see you guys in the next one, and I will update you when I have an update. Thank you, bye!